You just got paid. Again, 2 weeks of work, maybe overtime, maybe that second job you picked up to make ends meet. The money hits your account on Friday morning, and by Monday night it's already half gone. Rent, car payment, that credit card bill that never seems to get smaller, and you're sitting there staring at your phone wondering, where does it all go? Sit down. We need to talk. You don't know me. You don't need to. What you need to know is this. I've worked 2 jobs most of my adult life. I've chosen between paying the electric bill and fixing the car. I've eaten the same meal 5 days straight because that's what the budget allowed. And somewhere along the way, I learned something that nobody on Wall Street will ever teach you. Every single dollar you don't spend is a dollar that works for you while you sleep. That's the first lesson. Write that down. Now, I know what you're thinking. You work hard. You deserve something nice once in a while. That new phone, those shoes, dinner out because you're too tired to cook, and you're right. You do work hard. But let me ask you something. How's that working out for your bank account? Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You don't have an income problem. You have a spending discipline problem. And before you close this and tell me I don't understand, let me stop you right there. I understand perfectly. I understand what it's like to see something on sale and think it's a good deal. I understand the feeling of handing over your card and getting that little rush. I understand all of it. And I also understand that every single time you do that, you're trading your time for junk you'll forget about in a week. Think about it. That $40 shirt? That's 3 hours of work after taxes. That takeout dinner? That's an hour and a half you spent working, just to avoid cooking for 30 minutes. The math is brutal when you actually do it. And most people never do it. They just keep spending and wondering why they're always broke. But here's what really gets me. You know that feeling when the checking account is down to double digits and payday is still 4 days away? That anxiety, that stress. You're volunteering for that. Every time you buy something you don't need, you're signing up for that feeling. You're choosing it. Now go to the comments and confess. What did you buy last week that you already regret? First step to change is admitting the damage. The goal here isn't $50,000 because it sounds nice. It's $50,000 because that's what peace of mind costs in this country. That's a medical emergency covered. That's 6 months of expenses if you lose your job. That's the difference between panic and power when life happens. And life always happens. But you think saving that much is impossible. You think you'd need to win the lottery or get some big promotion. Wrong. You need to stop bleeding money on things that don't matter. That's it. That's the entire secret. Not sexy, is it? No tricks, no hacks. Just the hard truth that every dollar you waste today is a dollar you won't have when you actually need it. And here's the part that's going to make you uncomfortable. You already know where the money's going. You know about the subscriptions you don't use. You know about the coffee you buy every morning instead of making it at home. You know about the convenience store stops and the impulse purchases and all of it. You know, you just haven't admitted it hurts. Well, it does hurt. It hurts your future. It hurts your family. It hurts your chance at ever having that $50,000 sitting in your account, giving you the freedom to breathe. But that's just the spending you can see. Wait until I show you the money walking out the back door while you sleep. That's coming next. And it's worse than you think. You want to know why you can't save? Let me show you something. It's not the big purchases, those you notice. It's the little ones, the ones that don't seem to matter. The ones you forget about 5 minutes after you swipe the card. $10 here, $15 there, $8.99 for something you didn't need. And you think to yourself, it's just $10. What difference does it make? Let me tell you what difference it makes. $10 a day is $70 a week. That's $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. That's your entire emergency fund, gone, on things you can't even remember buying. And that's just one leak. I know a guy who owns a diner 2 blocks from where I live, been there 30 years. He told me something once that stuck with me. He said, I watch people come in here every single morning. Same people, same order. $6 for coffee and a muffin, every day. And then they complain they can't afford to fix their car. He shook his head and said, they're eating their transmission, 1 muffin at a time. That's what we're doing. We're eating our future, $6 at a time. But it's not just the coffee. It's the streaming services you signed up for and forgot about. It's the gym membership you haven't used in 6 months. It's the app subscriptions that renew automatically. It's the bank fees for falling below the minimum balance. It's the late fees because you forgot to pay on time. Add it up? Go ahead. I'll wait. Most people never do this. They never sit down and actually track where every single dollar goes. And that's the problem. You can't fix what you don't measure. You can't stop a leak you refuse to look at. So here's what changed everything for me. I started writing it down. Every dollar, every cent. Not later, not at the end of the week. Right then, the moment I spent it. Cash, card, doesn't matter. I wrote it down, and you know what I found? I was spending $400 a month on things I couldn't even categorize. Just stuff. Random stuff. Stuff that didn't make my life better. Stuff that didn't matter. $400. That's $4,800 a year. Almost $5,000. Gone. If you can't name where it went, it wasn't worth spending. That's the second rule. Write that down too. Now I can hear the excuses already. You're thinking, but I need my coffee. I need to eat out sometimes. I need those little treats to get through the day. And you know what? Maybe you do, but you don't need them every single day. You don't need the expensive version. You don't need to mindlessly hand over your money without even thinking about it. Make your coffee at home, 4 days a week, just 4, and keep your fancy coffee on Friday. That's $24 saved every week. That's $96 a month. That's $1,152 a year. That's a car repair. That's a medical bill. That's breathing room. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Your brain will fight you on this. It'll tell you that you deserve it. It'll tell you that it's too hard. It'll tell you that one time won't matter. And that's the trap, because it's never one time. It's every time, and every time adds up. You have to train your brain to prefer security over convenience. You have to teach yourself that the peace of mind from having money in the bank feels better than the temporary pleasure of buying something you don't need. It's hard at first, I won't lie, but it gets easier. And then it becomes automatic, and when someone tells you you're being cheap, you smile, because cheap is what broke people call smart people to make themselves feel better about being broke. You're not cheap. You're in control. There's a difference. You think that's bad? I haven't even mentioned the single biggest leak in every American household. Credit card interest. That's next. And if you're carrying a balance, you need to hear this. Credit card debt. Let's talk about it, because this is where most people lose the war before they even know they're fighting. You've got a balance. Maybe $2,000, maybe $5,000, maybe more. And every month you make the minimum payment and tell yourself you're handling it. But here's what's really happening. You're paying the bank to keep you poor. Let's say you've got $3,000 on a card at 20% interest. National average, nothing crazy. You make the minimum payment about $75 a month. You know how long it takes to pay that off? 10 years, a decade, and you know how much you'll pay in total? $5,400. You'll pay the bank $2,400 just for the privilege of being in debt. That's not a credit card, that's a trap. And every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that can't go toward your $50,000. It's a dollar you worked for that does absolutely nothing for you. It just disappears. Gone. Into the bank's pocket. So, here's what you do. You stop using the card. Today. Right now. I don't care if there's a rewards program. I don't care if you get points or cash back or airline miles. If you're carrying a balance, those rewards are costing you money. You're paying 20% to get 2% back. That's not math. That's stupidity. Cut up the card if you have to. Freeze it in a block of ice. I don't care. Just stop using it. Then you take every extra dollar you can find and you throw it at that balance. Not the minimum. Every dollar you can scrape together. Because every dollar you pay now saves you $1.20 in interest later. Now here's where it gets interesting. Let's say you do this. You stop the bleeding. You cut the spending. You pay off the debt. What happens to that money? That $400 you were wasting? That $75 minimum payment? That $120 you were spending on coffee and takeout? It goes into savings. And it adds up fast. Real fast. 400 plus 75 plus $120. That's $595 a month. That's $7,140 a year. In 5 years, that's $35,700. In 7 years, you're past $50,000. No lottery ticket, no inheritance, just discipline. Let me tell you about someone real. There's a woman in Ohio, works as a nurse, 2 kids, divorced, makes about $52,000 a year. Not rich, not even close. 5 years ago, she had $8,000 in credit card debt and nothing saved. Nothing. Today, she's got $43,000 in the bank. You know what she did? Everything I just told you. That's it. She stopped spending on garbage. She paid off the cards. She saved every dollar she could. And she said no. A lot. No to eating out 5 times a week. No to upgrading her phone every year. No to buying her kids every single thing they asked for. No to keeping up with people who were drowning in debt trying to look successful. And you know what's funny? Her kids are fine. They're happy. They're learning something more valuable than getting everything they want. They're learning that security matters more than status. But here's the hard part. Your family won't understand at first. Your friends won't get it. They'll invite you out, and you'll say you can't afford it, and they'll roll their eyes. They'll tell you you're no fun anymore. They'll make you feel bad for being responsible. Let them. Because in 5 years, when they're still broke and stressed and one emergency away from disaster, you'll have $50,000 in the bank. You'll sleep without anxiety. You'll have options. You'll have freedom, and they'll ask you how you did it. 50,000 isn't a dream. It's 2,500 times you said no to things that don't matter. That's the third lesson, and it's the most important one. Here's what that looks like. No to the new car when the old one still runs. No to the bigger apartment you don't need. No to the vacation on credit. No to the brand name when generic works just fine. No to impressing people who don't pay your bills. Every no is a yes to your future. Every no is money in your account. Every no is one step closer to never having to panic about money again. Now, here's the plan to make it happen. Pay attention. This matters. 36 months, 3 years. That's the timeline. Not because it's easy, because it's realistic. And realistic is what gets you there. Dreams don't build savings accounts. Plans do. Here's what the next 3 years look like if you're serious. Month 1 through 3, you track everything. I mean everything, every coffee, every tank of gas, every grocery trip, every bill. You write it down or you type it in an app. Doesn't matter how. What matters is that you know exactly where your money goes. Because you can't fix what you can't see. By the end of month 3, you'll know exactly where you're bleeding money, and you'll be mad. Good. Use that. Month 4 through 6, you cut the obvious waste. The subscriptions you don't use. The gym membership you haven't touched. The premium cable package when you only watch 3 channels. The daily coffee run. The lunch you buy instead of pack. Cut it all. This is where you find that $400 to $500 a month I talked about. This is where the plan starts working. Month 7 through 12, you kill the credit card debt. Every extra dollar goes there. You get aggressive. You work overtime if you can. You sell stuff you don't need. You do whatever it takes. Because every month you carry that balance, you're giving away money to the bank. And that stops now. By month 12, you're debt-free. That feeling? Remember it. That's what winning feels like. Month 13 through 36, you save like your life depends on it. Because it does, you take that $595 a month and you put it somewhere you can't easily touch. A savings account, a money market, doesn't matter. What matters is discipline. 595 times 24 months is $14,280. Add the 7,140 from the first year and you're at 21,420. That's year 2 done. Year 3, same thing. Another 7,140. You're now at 28,560. You're over halfway. And here's what happens next. You get momentum. You start finding more ways to save. You get better at saying no. Maybe you pick up a side gig. Maybe you get a raise and you save it instead of spending it. Maybe you find another 100 a month to add. That gets you to 50,000 by month 36. The math works. It's not complicated. It's just hard. There's a difference. But here's what nobody tells you about getting to 50,000. It changes you. You stop being the person who panics when the car breaks down. You stop being the person who loses sleep over bills. You stop being the person who feels trapped. You become the person who has options, the person who has power, the person who controls money instead of letting money control them. That's worth more than the number in the account. That peace of mind, you can't buy that. You have to earn it. $1 at a time, one no at a time, one disciplined decision at a time. Now let me be clear about something. This isn't about suffering. This isn't about never enjoying your life. This is about being intentional. It's about deciding that your future matters more than impressing people who don't care about you. It's about valuing your time enough to not waste the money you traded your time for. You worked for every dollar. Make every dollar work for you. And here's the last thing. The people who say this is impossible, they're the same people who spend $300 a month on things they can't remember buying. They're the same people who will be broke in 5 years wondering what happened. Don't listen to them. Listen to the people who did it. The nurse from Ohio, the mechanic from Texas who saved $60,000 in 6 years, the teacher from Florida who paid off $30,000 in debt and built a safety net. They're real, they exist, and they all started exactly where you are right now. Broke, tired, scared, and determined to change it. So here's your move. If you're serious, comment "I'm done bleeding money" as your public contract, not for me. For the you that's tired of being broke. For the you that's ready to take control. Do it now. You already spent enough time being careless with your money. Time to be ruthless with it instead. Now go turn off that light you left on. Every cent counts, you know that now.